What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Shout out to everybody that's catching us on the live. What is up? What is up? Hope everybody's doing amazing today. If you are catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. Guys, what is up? What is up? Hope everybody's doing amazing. Come on in. Come on in. What is up, my mind? Stephanie in the house. Ruth, Rob. What is going on? Gina, nice to see you. Laura, hope everybody's doing amazing. Omar, Izzy, I'm going to let some folks come on in. Man, holy smokes. It has been a wild 2025 so far. Hope everybody's staying safe. I know some of the viewers are out in California. And I just want to make sure that you guys are safe out there in California because it is craziness. We're going to jump into that here in a minute. But so we all know Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter had passed away. What's up, Bobby? Yeah, what's up, Rob? We all know that Jimmy Carter passed away, and he's having his funeral. And everybody's at the funeral today, including Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff and Joey B, Sleepy Joe. But Gina says it's definitely not been a boring new year. That's for sure, 100%. J.L. Brooks says Los Angeles Department of Water and Power top paid job last year at $750K. That is crazy. We're going to jump into some of that stuff here in a little bit, but I want to share this real quick. So, Jimmy Carter's funeral, Joey B, Jill B show up, and look at the snub that they give Kamala Harris. I got to tell you guys, Kamala Harris is like, and I don't mean to bring it back to the playground days, but because I was the kid. I was the kid sometimes that nobody wanted to play with, right? And this is how, and there have been situations where, you know, there's kids that you didn't want to play with because you're a kid. And this is how Kamala Harris feels to me, right? She feels like that kid that nobody wants to play with, all right? So check this out. Jill B, Joey B show up to Carter's funeral, and they give Kamala Harris an absolute snub here.
Started the year as the would-be Democratic presidential nominee, and we all know what happened after that. Again, you didn't see a particularly warm greeting between the first couple and the second couple, but again, we are at a funeral, so one has to take that into account when trying to...
Jill Biden didn't even look. She just looked at her seat. Kamala Harris picked up her little book, her little pamphlet, the agenda for the funeral.
Here as the would-be Democratic presidential nominee, and we all know what happened after that. Again, you didn't see a particularly warm greeting between the first couple and the second couple, but again, we are at a funeral.
Oh my gosh, she doesn't even say anything to her. She didn't even say anything, nothing. Oh, we got some trolls in the chat. What's up, trolls? Trolls in the house. Joe Biden didn't even say anything to her. Joe Biden didn't even say anything. Joe doesn't even know where he's at. He was promised ice cream after this, so that's why he's there. Ice cream and pizza. That's why he's there. But Jill didn't even say a word or look at Kamala Harris. Golly. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? It is gross. Here we go. All right. Here is Donald Trump speaking to Obama. What do you think he said here? It's so interesting to me that a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Obama, the entire Democrat Party was saying that he's a threat to democracy. And we all know that that's just a show. It's just a show. It's just a bull crap show, right? And Obama's over here laughing next to Donald Trump. I wonder what he said here. He probably said, "Listen, you picked a crappy candidate. You picked a crappy candidate." And he's like, "Yeah, I know I did." Oh, he said, Stephanie said, "Did you?" He said, "Did he sniffers when you come in, or is it just me?" Oh, did he sniff you when he came in, or is it just me? Yeah, it's crazy to me. Gina says, "I'm glad you're talking about that look at between that conversation between Donald Trump and so-called Hitler, right?" This is crazy to me. Like, it's just a show, and it's interesting because the legacy media is still pushing the pedal to the metal on threat to democracy and all this other crap. If he was such a threat to democracy, why did almost the entire country vote for him? Like, come on. He said we need to speak privately about important issues. Oh, yeah, we got to get the lip readers in here. I wonder what he said. Let's see. I don't know. That first glance right there, he's like, she's a piece of shit, right? Look. I think he says it. I think he says, she's a piece of shit, right? Look. I don't know. Just me. Anyways. Now, when Kamala Harris is sitting down, Obama says something, and she thinks that Obama's talking to her. Look at this. And she turns around. She thinks that it's about her. Oh, man. These are people that nobody wants at dinner table, for sure. What's up, Margie? Yeah, Tyson, Margie says, "Tyson, did you see Biden doze off and the woman on the side of the relatives, lady sleeping? Trump probably told Obama not to stab him while at a eulogy." That is funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Biden, anytime that Joey B has an opportunity to fall asleep, he falls asleep. That's just how he is. He's just falling asleep. Doug Emhoff looks pissed. Kamala Harris looks pissed. Mrs. Bush looks kind of happy back here. When Kamala Harris turns around, watch this. Kamala Harris turns around. She's like, "They ain't talking to you, girl." And then she got this kind of smirk on her face. This is all games. This is all political games, and it's funny because what's going to happen to these two folks? What is going to happen to these two folks? Okay, she's in debt. He has to put his head down and get to work like he always does, right? It's funny. Donald Trump said, I made Justin Trudeau eat a Big Mac without his hands like a dog. That is fun. If you guys haven't seen that comedy skit from Canada, Trump, it was a comedy skit that Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau, he made him eat a Big Mac without his hands. It was funny. Yeah, Izzy's right here. Melania looks less than thrilled She does, because she doesn't put up with any crap. That is just, at least in my personal opinion, she doesn't put up with any crap. You know, Joe Biden wanted to have tea with Melania, and Melania was like, nah, she ain't. Her rep said she ain't going. Melania ain't going, because these people, right? The Biden and Harris administration authorized them to raid Mar-a-Lago, and that is, I think she just feels a deep invasion of privacy. Donald Trump's over here playing politics for sure, because he knows who really runs the show, right? We really know who ran the show, right? This guy right here. Big Mike. Catherine says, Big Mike, nowhere in sight. Yeah, probably playing basketball or something. I don't know. Thomas said, Kamala is a turd in a punch bowl of history. That is funny. Yeah, I don't blame her either, right? She's invasion of privacy. The media was pushing all this crap with her and her family, threat to democracy crap. I wouldn't be too thrilled to be there either. There's Killary. There was Killary. Anyways, that's Jimmy Carter's funeral situation. It's a 3-day funeral. Here is, let's see, what's this one?
President from Plains, Georgia. I knew Plains from my pastorate.
This whole section right here, from Doug, from Obama, down. Garbage, right? Garbage. Anyways, so we gotta talk about these tragic, catastrophic fires in Los Angeles. Again, I know some of these viewers are in Los Angeles, so hope everybody is safe that is in LA, Malibu, and it is very sketchy to me. It is very sketchy to me. Last night, I think around 9:30 PST, some fires broke out near the Hollywood sign. And it's just so sporadic. Like, I know it is a complete mismanagement regarding control, like, because they normally do controlled bushfires. Complete mismanagement. They deferred the water runoff back into the Pacific Ocean to save smelt, this small fish. And it is absolutely crazy to me that the fire hydrants ran out of water. Anyways, I'm looking into this because I really want to figure out, obviously mismanagement, but it seems kind of sketchy to me. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It seems a little sketchy to me. About a year ago, insurance companies started dropping California residents because California didn't agree to the increase in premium on their insurance policies because of these wildfires. And these fires were just popping up everywhere. Catherine says, I saw something very suspicious shooting over Area 51, flying across California almost immediately. These fires feels like a Maui. A lot of you guys in the comment section have been saying that it is very reminiscent to Maui. It's very reminiscent to Lahaina. Like, these are the land in California is worth so much. Anyways, I haven't watched this full clip. This is Adam Carolla, comedian, used to be the host of The Man Show. I don't know if The Man Show is still around. But the first couple seconds of this, I want to dive into this, and then I'll react to it.
The guys who lost their $20 million homes on the ocean side of PCH will be knee-deep in the permit process. They will be trying to pull permits when the guys in the Winnebagos will have been back for months before those guys ever get a permit. As a matter of fact, good fucking luck, because here's the deal. Alan Hamill and Suzanne Summers moved because they could not get a permit to rebuild their home of 40 years on the ocean on PCH, right? So here's what's going to happen. Let me just give you guys a little primer of what's going to happen. You know how Bill Maher seems real conservative now when he's like arguing with Jane Fonda about regulations, too many regulations, like strangling everything? Because remember, when Bill Maher tried to put solar in his house in Beverly Hills, that's when he turned against the government, because he saw what the government and the overreach of government and overregulation does. He got strangled. It took him 3 years to build a solar shack. He had a whole countdown on his show, you know, day 1,000 since I've got my permit for my solar. He turned. Okay. The people.
Adam Carolla said something really interesting at the beginning of this video. He said the residents that their homes have burned, they're going to be in the permitting process to get their properties rebuilt. A lot of those insurance policies dropped some of these individuals. Luckily, as of now, only 5 people have been unalived, right, or found dead. But Adam Carolla says, hey, a lot of these homeowners are going to be in the permitting process. And LA, I've done some remodels in LA, and the permitting process to get stuff done is excruciating. It is horrible. It's so drug on, and it takes forever to get stuff done. Now, Adam Carolla also says the people that are going to be in those permit process, the people that were living in the Winnebagos and the tents and all this stuff, they're going to already be staking claim back on the freeway after the debris and everything is cleared up. And they might even find a new, a nice new spot. He's speaking about the homeless and the homeless encampments. Excuse me.
Who live in Malibu, who live in Santa Monica, who live in the Palisades. Those are some of the most progressive blue voters in the world, or in the United States. They are a bastion of blue. So what those guys did is, all the people in the Palisades, I checked it out. It's about 80% blue, 80% progressive, 80% Democrat. Now, these pussies are all sitting around crying about Karen Bass, water pressure, how come the forest wasn't cleared of all the brush, what's happening with the infrastructure. You guys all voted for Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. You all voted for Gavin Newsom. And now you fucking get what you get. Oh, now that your house is on fire, well, now you're thinking about something else. Now you want to know what's going on. What's going on around here? You didn't give a shit about what was going on when other people's houses were on fire, but now you care. So here's what's going to happen. All these people who were deep blue Democrats are now going to have to pull a permit to rebuild. And they're going to get the 28-year-old bitch from the Coastal Commission telling them to go fuck off. And then they're going to vote for Trump or whoever's Trumpian next. You see, they're going to get turned. They're going to get turned hard because, as I've always said, live in the rent control apartment in Santa Monica, fine, good. We know how you vote. Go deal with the city. Try to pull a permit. These are going to be thousands of homes, super wealthy people, and these people don't want to live in Van Nuys. They like it where they are. They love Malibu. They love the Palisades. They love Santa Monica. There's going to be a whole bunch of rich people, and they're going to go, I'm rebuilding, and I want to rebuild as fast as I can. And between the part where they go in to planning commission and plan check and initially and try to pull a permit to the time the first load of lumber, the first load of 2x4s is dropped off on their lot where their house formerly stood, it's going to be 3 years.
For sure. 100%. 100%. I'm in the middle of a new construction project right here in Las Vegas, and it's going to be like 3 years by the time that it's done. Crazy.
And 1,000 permits and 1,000 arguments and 1,000 discussions with the Coastal Commission, not to mention little tidbits that they didn't think about, like Carson Daly. You want a swimming pool? Yep. Got to be double hulled. Really? Yeah. Well, why? Well, what if water leaches out and gets into the groundwater table? Carson Daly had to build a swimming pool like a modern day oil tanker. Had to be like a double hulled. That's all right. It'll just cost $500,000 for a swimming pool. Like that.
It's crazy.
They're going to be, when they start getting the regulation, they're going to go nuts. And when they start running into the bureaucracy and the red tape, they're going to start going nuts, and they're going to vote for Rick Caruso next time because they want to get. That's all Trump says is we're going to pull back the regulations. We're going to free people up. They're going to find out. They're going to get bit by their own snake. They're going to convert. I am telling you, these are the bluest people on the planet, and they're going to be fucking ripshit pissed when the city and the Coastal Commission tell them to fuck off. And by the way, I don't think the Coastal Commission is going to okay anyone rebuilding any of their houses on the coast because they say they're in the business of protecting the coast. They're in the business of getting you to leave. They will get their wish, which is no buildings. And they're going to make it hard for everyone. And then we're going to have to restructure the whole thing because
imagine that, just like Maui, right? Push so many regulations in order to stop construction projects or new construction projects to happening. Now, that land in California is very valuable. It's right by the coast, right on the coast, views of the water, very, very valuable. Now, everybody's house is gone. Some of those people can't rebuild, specifically, and I'm going to move to the Palisades. The Palisades is a little bit more inner city. Some of those people inherited those houses from grandma, mom, wherever the case is. Some of those folks didn't necessarily have high mortgages at that time, but the value of their home was significantly high. Catherine says it right here, land grab, it happens. Land grab will happen, and we'll see who's on the right after that. 100%. 100%. David said, looks like the same way Dems in charge of Hawaii handle things as well. Yep. Catherine says, Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, should have never been allowed in power. It is absolutely crazy to me that she went to an inauguration for some African president. I don't know the situation. I didn't look into it, but she was in Ghana during this whole situation. I wanted to share this quick clip of the devastation of what's going on in this is Maui, or excuse me, not Maui, Malibu. This is California right now. This is like a third world country. All these houses, these were houses. They're all gone. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Here's a presser from Miss Bass, by the way.
With CBS News for Mayor Bass, please. Mayor, LA County is in a panic state. It began 2 days ago with the Palisades fire. My crew and I arrived shortly after it started. And for several hours, we watched as hundreds of homes in a neighborhood burned to the ground. We did not see a single fire engine. We watched as Good Samaritans guided traffic. There was fear and there was a lot of confusion. You were out of the country at the time. Shortly after the fire started, a press release was put out warning of this fire behavior. My question to you is, what explains this lack of preparation and rapid response?
Let me just say, first and foremost, my number one focus, and I think the focus of all of us here with one voice, is that we have to protect lives, we have to save lives, and we have to save homes. Rest assured that when rest assured, let me finish. Rest assured, when that is done, when we are safe, when lives have been saved and homes have been saved, we will absolutely do an evaluation to look at what worked, what didn't work, and to correct or to hold accountable any body, department, individual, etc. But my focus right now is on the lives and on the homes.
Do you think your leadership was effective while responding to this disaster?
I just said what I believe is the most important thing for us to do right now, and that is going to continue to be my focus. Thank you.
Trash, not trash. Let me know in the comment section down below, right? DEI hire? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Bill Cole says, you would think the fourth largest economy in the world would have money for fire protection. David said, good thing the adults are in charge now. Absolutely. Trump absolutely murked Gavin Newsom for redirecting the water runoff from rain to save the smelt fish. And yeah, it's been a crazy past couple days. Rob said California needs to lose every cent of government funding until they get their S together. They caught Miss Karen Bass at the airport. Some of you guys might have seen this yesterday, but a reporter caught her at the airport, was asking her questions, and this was her response. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. You don't have the lady balls to say something, just something.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up, please? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them?
Nothing. She says nothing.
Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
She says absolutely nothing. That is disgusting. Stephanie says the mayor gave $13 million to libraries and took away $17 million from fire and rescue. Gave equipment to, we know who, Ukraine. Yesterday also, Biden is set to release another set of funding to Zelensky. That is disgusting to me. This is disgusting. Meanwhile, a lot of you guys are saying North Carolina, those people are still affected, and we're in the middle of winter over there, right? Catherine says, just like Maui leaders just happened to be gone. Yep. You know, seeing this footage here, seeing the totality of damage in Los Angeles reminds me, and I might have said this on a previous video, but reminds me from that 1996 movie with Kurt Russell, Escape from LA. That's what LA looks like right now.
There and fire chiefs are also admitting that they just don't have enough personnel to take out the fires.
Yeah, they're fighting all sorts of challenges. They're talking about a water shortage. There are reports of fire hydrant failures. They've been unable to use firefighting aircraft for much of the day due to the smoke that is billowing ominously from the hills where the wildfires are raging. And I suppose despite that political storm, this is, of course, at its heart, a human story, because we've now 80,000 people evacuated. Tens of thousands of others are on standby to be evacuated. 2 lives have been lost in the the Eaton fire, which is what's causing the consequence behind us. The city's iconic landscape almost shrouded completely by the smoke. And they're really just taking it one step at a time, hoping at some stage the wind's going to change direction or to die down, and that they're going to be able to get this fire under control. And have you anything to say?
Crazy to me. Jenny says, in that presser from Miss Bass, she says, save lives and saves homes. I'm sorry, explain why fire hydrants didn't have water. They ran out of water, apparently, yesterday morning. Last night, when the Hollywood Hills started burning, that's when they brought in the choppers and the aircrafts that could carry water. The winds apparently had died down, so they had the opportunity to dump that water-based chemical to help reduce the flames. Stephanie says DEI action in California right now. Yep. The devastation of this is horrible. I'm just running through some of these comments here, just making sure that I'm getting caught up. Yeah, Billy Cole says, how much has California spent on illegal immigrants? And they got so much funding to assist with the homeless crisis, and all of it's gone. And it is gross how the city, particularly, I'm going to talk about San Francisco, because some family that I have is up in San Francisco. It is gross. The homelessness up there. And in LA, I used to love going to Venice Beach. And it's gross. All these homeless encampments. Bobby says she knew she was prepared to take the hits because they're covering up something much darker. People like Allie Carter forewarned these things like this, fires, etc. Yeah. All right. Let me jump into this real quick. So this is our favorite friend, right? Jasmine Crockett. Miss Crockett is on the CNN panel along with another, like a real trooper, Scott Jennings, on CNN talking about these wildfires. Here we go.
Trump has raised the issue of FEMA not having enough money, et cetera. This is your territory. Is the Congress going to fully fund what California needs in order to handle these fires, to recover from them if it's needed?
Absolutely, we should. This, of course, is a town that constantly disappoints people, but shame on all of us if we don't acknowledge that these disasters hit every state, and this is a really big one. People need to expect that their state, local, and federal government are going to be there, and we need to be.
I think that members always end up coming together when it comes to these disasters and doing the right thing by the people that are there. What really becomes the glue that puts it all together is the actual execution of the resources. And that's something that I think members of Congress need to do a much better job about, is making sure that the money gets on the ground to the people who need it the most in the manner and the speed at which
and just in December, we did together, Republicans and Democrats, refill much of that disaster fund. This is going to take a lot of money out of that.
So we are in, it's January 8th. President Trump is going to be inaugurated in just a few days.
About to say.
The incoming president, I hate to say it, but he has a history of threatening to not fund fire relief, specifically to California.
What did they do to Puerto Rico? I mean, we spent historic amounts of money on Puerto Rico.
Let me just play what President Trump said. This was just in October about actually fires in California.
We're going to take care of our farmers. We're going to take care of your water situation. And we'll force it down his throat. And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is that I would feel more comfortable if we decided to send additional resources to FEMA now before he is sworn into office. So my charge to the newly elected Speaker of the House is let's get a bill on the floor. Let's come together just like we came together when it dealt with Georgia and North Carolina and Florida. And let's make sure that California has the resources without delay, and make sure that there is no planned politics, because if you trust what he says, he has already made it clear that he likes to pick and choose who it is that he wants to support. And while the Congress may come together, I don't know what he's going to do with the veto pen. So I think that we should get it done while we still have a President Joe Biden.
Look, the Congress and the president, whether they do it now or 2 weeks from now, is going to obviously fund this and take care of this, and they need to. It's important. However, I do think this policy changes should come along with this relief money here, with whatever it takes to rebuild and to fix. We have to look at the root causes, whatever forest management problems there are, whatever water problems there are, whatever issues happen in the local governance. Rebuilding here is a good thing, and everybody should support it. But we ought to, as taxpayers, expect necessary policy changes at the federal, state, and local level so that it doesn't happen again.
Does that include climate change and addressing that?
Climate change. Oh my gosh.
And America, I think, has a better track record on this front than most people give us credit for. The reality is, in the last few years, we've reduced our carbon footprint by more than the next 15 carbon-reducing countries combined. I would say this, clearly, President Trump speaks from the stump in a very different way than I do. It said that you campaign in poetry and you govern in prose. We actually know how this guy is going to govern. He was president for 4 years. He didn't cut off funding. He didn't look at people whose homes were burned down and say, forget about it. You had a Biden sign in your yard, so we're just going to pass on by your home. Those things did happen in the last administration.
Solid point right there. Solid point. When the hurricane hit North Carolina, it has been openly talked about. There was this huge whistleblower scandal talking about FEMA people avoiding Trump supporter homes. Catherine says, I wouldn't trust FEMA with anything. Yeah. What are these people going to get? $750? $750? $700? What are they going to get? That doesn't even cover their mortgage. That's like 2 grocery trips in Los Angeles.
Probably in a narrow way, but I got to tell you, Donald Trump will be there to help out people in California. He was there 4 years ago. He'll be there now.
I'm just going to read one quote. We have several of them from his time in office, but just one as it relates to this. This is Kevin Carroll, a former Homeland Security official, told the New York Times and Politico and The Guardian, Trump absolutely didn't want to give aid to California or Puerto Rico purely for partisan politics. I hear what you're saying about the hurricanes, what happened in North Carolina and Florida. I do, though, think that there is a track record here of Trump, too, where his own aides, there are several others I didn't read, but his own aides say they had to convince him that there were votes there for him.
Well, I think
there are no votes in Puerto Rico.
I think what's going to be important is
Which
that
is why
we have.
they didn't.
But what did we do? I mean,
Let me finish.
people make this
Excuse me,
allegation
Scott, let me
about Puerto
finish.
Rico,
What I
but
think
it's like we funded
is going to be important is when the Senate is confirming those cabinet members.
That's what I was
speaking with them about what their policy ideas are and what they're going to do. Because when you're reading things like that, we recognize that it was the individuals who were there as experts, cabinet members, officials, who were able to convince the president to do certain things or convince him not to do other things. And we want to make sure that those great minds are still there for him to be able to provide that guidance and support so that when Congress does give bills, good people like Desi and others who are working on these things to be able to put it in front of him to get him to sign it and to do the right thing.
I think that that's really the big issue, is that he was surrounded by what I would consider to be actual experts, people that had actual resumes talking of diversity, equity, inclusion, and people just getting jobs and they're not qualified. I mean, when you look at the people that he has decided to nominate for these posts, we're talking about people that have never served a day in a lot of these various agencies that he's now like, oh, you should go ahead and head this agency. He has
I can't stand her either.
specifically decided that loyalist is who he wants around him. People that will not give him that honest kind of reflective moment and say, you know what, this isn't what we do. And that is my biggest concern about this. And listen, I wasn't here serving as a member of Congress, so I can't say what he did and didn't do from an up close and personal perspective when he was in office before. But what I can say is what he threatens to do, along with the judgment that we've seen thus far going into the second administration, his judgment is way worse. I mean, looking at
blah, 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 blah. I know you guys are getting tired of listening to CNN, so I see the yawns. I'll cut it because it's the same old. Some of you guys in the chat are saying it's the same old bullcrap from 2016, right? Trump's going to do whatever he needs to do in order to rebuild this situation, right? And that's just plain and simple here. That is just plain and simple. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Oh my gosh. This is a bad administration in California, not climate change. Exactly. Not climate change. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut off that panel because you guys were getting bored off of it. And I personally was too. Let's jump into this other story here. Listen to this. Chicago has now looking to deport undocumented migrants, undocumented illegals. Listen to this.
Welcoming city will be discussed at next week's council meeting.
Some members think the city should be working more with federal agents to uncover criminals, but others call it a political move. Elizabeth Matthews is live at City Hall with more. Elizabeth.
Scott, Don, this amendment was first discussed back in September of 2023. That's when Chicago was seeing busloads of migrants pour into the city. What this amendment to the Welcoming City Ordinance would do is loosen restrictions for city agencies to work with federal partners when it comes to dealing with undocumented criminals.
Chicago will remain a welcoming city. What we're saying is that those immigrants that commit a crime when you are here, you're not welcome anymore.
Council members Silvana Tabarez and Ray Lopez say this amendment to the Welcoming City Ordinance would make all of Chicago safer. It would allow city agencies to work with ICE agents when it comes to finding non-citizens who are committing crimes. And in turn, federal authorities wouldn't have to scour neighborhoods looking for the bad apples. With President Trump's second term about to begin, the threat of mass deportations have been prominent. But Councilmember Tabarez says this proposal doesn't have a connection to the incoming administration.
Really? It does. It does. You getting illegals to come in to vote blue. It didn't work. So now they got to go. They got to go.
But more to do with the influx of migrants.
All the residents in Chicago, they have sacrificed services and their tax dollars to appease and accommodate migrants and their advocates. And it's time now to say that we're not going to, they shouldn't tolerate living in an unsafe neighborhood. We should make our neighborhood safer.
Because I think is more political theater in a time that our city and our constituents need reassurance from elected officials that we're going to do everything we can to make sure that their families are safe.
Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez says as for finding the criminals, he says the legal process already has a system in place, whether you're undocumented or not.
I do think that we have a due process, and the city and the state of Chicago have been a city of immigrants for generations. And I think that to use these times, this narrative, to go after our city and our constituents truly is shameful on those members of the city council.
They got to go. They got to go. Plain and simple, right? Chicago, sanctuary city. California, sanctuary city. New York, sanctuary. It is, these illegals came in. tried to get them to vote without voter ID. It's funny that the majority of the states that Kamala Harris had blue were states that didn't require voter identification. Seems kind of freaking odd to me. Seems odd to me. Tim Hill says, Homan basically outright said they should start prosecuting mayors and governors when they were threatened with local state cops to stop ICE. I agree. I agree. Let me make sure I'm up on the comments. You guys are killing me with the comments today. I love it. I love it. Patrick says the only sanctuary cities and states I care about are the 2A sanctuaries. Oh man, it's actually a crime with up in a year to jail and harboring aliens. I forget the exact statute. I'll look into that. Actually, let me write that down. Statute, because I'll look into that. California is finally going to wake up, and you guys are still going to vote for Pretty Boy Blue. How's that working out for you guys now? Exactly, right? I think Adam had that right on the head. You know, they're going to be stuck in that permit process, and they are going to be completely upset that they're not going to be able to rebuild their beautiful Malibu home. And new legislation probably is coming across the pipeline too in regards of the size of the pools, because I know particularly here in Las Vegas, the size of the pools, you can't build these oversized pools anymore because of the drought in Nevada, or the limited water, the Water Preservation Act in Nevada. Anyways, yeah, so that is it. Before I jump off, I just wanted to give a shout out to the moderators in the chat. So shout out to all the moderators in the chat. We have some of the best moderators in the business. And then also, I wanted to give a shout out to everybody in the live chat. Shout out to everybody. You guys are super, super awesome. I am going to jump off. Shout out, if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. And yeah, I'll be back later on today with another video. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you haven't. Smash the like button and let me know what you think about all this other stuff. Drop your comments down below, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for rocking with me. Chat soon.